Yo, guys, how you guys doing? Welcome to another show of Dead Radio with your main man, Bang is Dead, like you already really know. Today I've got a special guest with me. Um, I already say this, but you already know we only have special guests on this show. What's up, bro? How you doing, man?
That's good, bro. I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain, man. I know who you are, but there's possibly some people watching this that don't. Please introduce yourself. Who are you and what do you do, bro?
No stress. My name is Menzi Mzimela, and obviously I go by the name of an Arcadium when I'm creating. But yeah, my name is just Menzi.
I missed that. Can I have to say it again?
Oh shit! Is it me? Was
This
it my?
Wi-Fi is tripping. I don't know if it's me or you.
Okay, let me try it again. Cool. So my name is Menzi Mzimela, also known as an Arcadium, and yeah, I'm a content creator, editor, producer, and yeah.
Word. Content creator, hey? Dude, but you were basically creating content before it was even seen as content creation.
Yeah, this is blogging, I guess.
Yeah, dude. So before we get into anything else, like, tell me about your background, man. Like, where you from and like, what are you about?
Um, uh, as in birth or like career, or do you want to take it way back?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, bro. I was just asking about your background. Like,
Oh,
where you from? Where were you raised? And like, why film?
okay. I was born in Davidson, but I
Word.
grew up in Durban. My grandparents moved to Durban, and I spent some time with them there, and then I came back to live in Randburg with my mother when she kind of stabilized a bit because my parents were very young when they had me. So I spent a lot of time with my grandparents. And then,
Right.
yeah, man, I grew up in Randburg, basically, Joburg, Randburg. And I've always just liked film and just anything creative on TV I used to like. So I used to enjoy watching MTV because it was, at the time, MTV used to be like crazy creative. So I used to watch a lot of MTV.
Yeah.
And then I used to watch a lot of movies and I just liked it. I don't know why. I just liked watching stuff, I enjoyed it. And then when it was time to finish school, I just went into multimedia. I wanted to go to film, but it was too expensive. So I just studied
Right.
multimedia, which was way cheaper and it was dope actually. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So that transition of you like studying multimedia and from film, did you at any point like not know how to position yourself
Yeah,
like
so
going forth?
yeah, when I was studying multimedia, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what my career would be. Luckily, with multimedia, you do everything, and they teach you about graphic design, film photography, videography, typography. So it's so because I'm learning all these things,
Damn.
I don't know what to do. It helps me being in that environment because they're teaching me everything. They're not forcing me into one thing. So
Right.
it was dope at the time. But when you get the degree, then you must start making big decisions, like what
Yeah.
path you want to do. And I ended up working in advertising as a graphic
Okay.
designer. Yeah,
Right.
as a junior graphic designer. Yeah, because in my head,
For real?
I thought if I jump into advertising, I could learn about film because adverts are high level.
Yes.
But you start realizing that ad agencies are very corporate. You can't just go chill with people who make adverts.
Oh,
It's
like the segmentations.
very segmented. And I was in a place where I couldn't get near those type of people. I just wasn't in that position.
Right. So now, how do you transition from that? Like, what's the next move?
Um, Afterwards, I went to work for a production company. So I moved from advertising to television,
Right.
and worked for my bosses who I still work for now that mentored me and basically are my bosses, and they also share the same dreams I have, even though they haven't achieved it as a company. So I wasn't a good
Right.
I was in a good environment there where we all know what we're trying to get to, but we were doing a lot of reality work. So I became very good at editing for reality and specials. but we still haven't got the narrative thing. So narrative is something I'm pursuing on the side and also pursuing with the company I'm working for.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Currently,
Right. So, okay. Now I need us to reverse because I see we're going a bit too far, right?
yeah.
Because I'm really interested in the YouTube in you getting into like the YouTube channel vibes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How does that start? Because for me personally, I remember discovering, I think Broke Niggaz I think I discovered it like around 2015, 2014, if I'm not mistaken. And for me, that was like a shocking thing. Like I was actually shocked that people were actually recording stuff, because the last people I knew recording stuff to be online were like people in the States, you know, and something that was well put together, something like with the storyline, if you could say that, like something that's like just put together. So how does the idea of Broke Nigga start? Because I know, yeah, cool. It's homies university. You guys are friends, chilling around in the same building. But
Yeah.
who says let's record, and what are we recording for?
Yeah. So it was kind of my idea, and initially, Broke Niggaz was a short film that I wrote. I'd written a short film, but I started realizing that putting it together is pretty hard. Making a movie is actually very difficult.
Right.
Trying to get my friends into acting is almost impossible because
Right.
you're messing around. They don't care. It's like, what is this? They're not gonna sit and learn a script. It's just not gonna happen. So
Yeah.
I felt like if I just kept the camera rolling, because they're such interesting people, I would.
Right.
If I recorded someone for 12 hours the whole day, I'm gonna find some interesting stuff about them. And
Right.
that's what I'll do. I'll just start recording them because every time they talk and have conversations, I'm always thinking like, this is some cool conversation. This is actually funny. Like you almost wish there was an audience. Like that's how funny my friends. I just started just recording them. Like, yeah, nah, let's just see what happens, what pops out. And then I went and I chopped it, I edited it, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I didn't know where to place it, so I just started a channel and started throwing stuff there. I didn't even know about getting views. I just wanted to just throw it in there and for us to watch it. And yeah, then every week I just started doing it, just
Are you
religiously.
for
Just
real?
yeah, and then started meeting up with them every weekend, shooting, editing, posting, and it became a thing that we just did.
Is that how you really created this monster? Are you being for real?
Yeah, that's how I created it, man. At the time, there was no long-term plan, bro. I was just messing
Of
around.
course.
No one had any ambitions. So you don't really care what's going to happen. And also, I just didn't think anyone would watch it. That's why the show is so vulgar, because I was like, no one's going to watch this. you know?
Dude, and then before you know it, a lot of people are watching it. So now, how did you guys take in because it got to a point where now people are begging for more episodes, and obviously, like you said, that wasn't part of the plan. So
Yeah.
now, is that like, how do you transition now the conversation of, yo guys, I'm just recording, we're having fun, to yo guys, now we have to record?
Now we have to record, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that because that has to be a conversation. Like, yo, I was recording for fun, but now like we
Yeah.
actually starting to make like some noise.
Yeah. So what happened was we recorded 10 episodes and then we stopped. We ended Broke Niggaz because we thought, okay, this was a cool experiment. This was dope. And when we stopped for like a month, people started tweeting me saying, "Why didn't you drop?" So I had no idea people
Yes.
were anticipating episodes every week because no one was saying anything. No one, when I dropped an episode, no one was saying anything. So I assumed that, oh, it's done.
No
People,
one cares.
no one
Yeah.
cares, and that's fine. I was cool with that because I expected that. So when people started messaging me saying, "Why did you stop dropping?" I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know you guys were waiting for episodes." So then we had the conversation about carrying on, and they were cool with it. And then now we had to kind of have themes for every episode. It got a bit slightly more serious, and so but I tried not to lose the essence of it. But we started
Right.
having more structured episodes. Like today we're talking about this, next week we're talking about that, and
Right.
that type of setup.
So now, would you say your background aided your structure in terms of putting those things together, like in terms of theme and how you're editing the because obviously each show is edited in such a way that you can feel what the theme is. You know what I mean? So now, like, would you say multimedia? This is where multimedia now was coming to show, like, was coming to the party. Like, okay, I study multimedia.
Yeah, now multimedia gave me the ultimate edge, because
Yeah.
not only could I shoot, I could edit, and not only could I edit, I could design my own thumbnails.
Poster.
I was literally doing everything, and it felt very organic. So that did give me an edge on YouTube. A lot of YouTubers didn't do multimedia. A lot of YouTubers can't really edit. Well, recently a lot of them do, but when YouTubers begin, they didn't have the skill sets that I had. So I was at an advantage.
Right.
And I think that's where the edge of the show came from, because the vlogs, there were some moments where the vlogs got very creative and stuff other people wouldn't be able to do. And I think that's where the edge I had, because me and also one of my best friends, Kelly, was also my roommate. He's the same thing. He works in advertising. He does editing. He does special effects. He does shooting, and he does photography.
Crazy. So it's like he owns a whole chain.
What I said. So multimedia came in very handy. There wouldn't be a vlog without multimedia, in essence.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, when it comes to vlogs, right? Because I'm gonna get into something more that has to do with all video taking, but like when it gets to vlogs, because what I see, like when I go into your page, right, on your channel, it looks like you're a director or producer of content. I wouldn't necessarily say you have a channel. I don't know if you get what I mean. Like it almost looks like Menzi's TV channel on YouTube. Because a lot of on that platform. Do you get what I mean? Is that the kind of feel you're looking for?
Initially that was the intention. It was trying to create. I was just trying to create like a essay version of like Vice or Noisy, like those channels. I used to watch those in varsity. I used to watch Vice, Noisy, Mass Appeal was one of those.
Right.
So I love that thing of like that channel, like where there's a lot of culture happening. People, all these, and I wanted to do exactly that, to playlist different types of content, and people have options to choose what they want to see on that channel.
Damn. And with you saying that now, it makes a lot of sense, because there's a lot of different content on that channel. Okay, so now, what is a creative producer do? Because I see you go by something you say is your creative producer. So what's a creative producer?
Yeah. So in TV, a creative producer is someone who manages the consistency of the creative direction that a show has taken.
Okay.
So from the beginning right to the end, they are managing the creative decision making other people are making, so that people don't derail from their initial ideas.
Right.
So if you have an idea and I help build that idea, once the idea is built and we're moving forward, I have to make sure that we're sticking on that same. So if you start doing some weird stuff, I'll be like, no, this doesn't
part of the plan.
Contribute to the initial idea. We need to make sure we're consistent to the creative decisions we've made and stick to them on a structural level. Otherwise, it just becomes silly.
That makes sense.
Creative producers do a lot of the time. They make sure that you're keeping consistent on the decisions you've made from the inception of the idea and the structures that you have built for the idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. And then, so you've been a creative producer for BET and Comedy Central.
Yeah.
So I don't know, were you on the panel, or did you get the job because you're a funny guy? Comedy Central.
Nah. So I worked for I'm the creative producer for Well Done Media, which is the production company. They got hired by BET. So with Comedy Central, it was a stand-up TV show. So the comedians are already there, and then we just have to produce the show. So so the venue, we put the cameras, we choose the angles, we edit it, we package the graphics, and we create the show from after the brief that was given to us by Comedy Central. So that's what I've done for Comedy Central. I helped create the show called Laugh in Your Language, which was a stand-up show, which is quite hectic because stand-up shows are pretty intense. You don't realize.
What do you mean you helped create? Like, did you guys sit down and bounce around ideas and?
Oh, so the show the show existed before, and then if a previous company does a bad job, when they do the next version, they give it to somebody else. And so the show existed, but we were in charge of executing the show. And when you're in charge of executing the show, you have liberties, creative liberties to make a show better, so you can decide something that was done in the previous shows, you can remove it and say, I don't like it, I'm adding this instead. There's a lot of creative liberty. So we have to make the show we need to package the show as well as possible. And that's our responsibility, because when people watch it and they don't like it, we're going to get shit for that. They have to say, why you guys messed up this, you messed up that. So we have to make sure the show is done right. And with a show like Stand Up, you have to make sure that your camera angles are good, your pacing is good when you're editing, just make it interesting. Make the guy funnier than he already is with the and you're helping a comedian just look good, because it's his reputation at the end of the day. You have to make him look good on TV. And that was our response.
Right. Yeah. You know, when you're talking about making the comedian look good, right? And the first thing that hit my head is how I forgot that media is actually used to create narratives, like to create specific narrative that they want the masses to believe, right? And I think we tend to forget that as people, that we actually like what everything we create and that's visual. Such as, let's say, anything you put on your YouTube channel, anything you put on your Instagram, if you have like a lot of followers, is something you could use to create a narrative. Yeah. Have you ever been in a boardroom or in a meeting as a creative producer where it's specifically been said what narrative is tried to being pushed on the specific show? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. So no, I've never had that conversation. I'm sure those conversations happen more with narrative TV shows, like shows that are actual like stories. But when it comes to reality, production companies get a lot of freedom. They leave it up to us to figure it out, because one thing I've realized is clients or channels, they don't say it, but they want you to be smarter than them, so they will throw an idea in the air, and as a service provider, you're not supposed to accept that idea. You're just supposed to make it better. They won't say that. They won't say that to you, and they won't express it, and sometimes they don't even know it. But your job is to be smarter than them and make that make their lives easier, because the people that give you work are the people that know that this guy will make me sleep better at night. If I give this to Bangy and I give him
less stress.
5 words, I don't have stress. And that's what you need to make people feel like when they give you a job. And the company I work for has done a great job at doing that for Viacom, because they give us work. So their lives become much easier. All we do is give them a final product, and they give us minimal changes. But if they have to babysit us, that's a big problem, because then they won't get the job again. Yeah.
True. Okay, so now I have not necessarily a question. It's something I was actually thinking.
Sorry, bro, you glitched for a second there.
Yo, bro, can you hear me? Yeah, I just lost you for a second there.
I can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, so I was like, Netflix, right? So Netflix is owned by whoever, right? I just want to give you because I was very curious about this the other day. Netflix is owned by whoever it is, right? It's the same of like all these other cinematography movies. What's this? Companies, you know what I mean? The English words are leaving my mouth, but you know what I mean, right? These companies that they create narratives, right? We can agree on that, right? That all these companies that make movies are creating a specific narrative for whoever's gonna watch the movie to believe. Whether it could be a black pen is better than a white pen, or a white pen is better than the black pen, whatever it could be, right? So now, when I watch a documentary on Netflix, could I easily assume that watching a documentary on YouTube is better than watching a documentary on Netflix? because the one on YouTube has less baselines. Like it's less controlled. Do you get what I mean? Is it fair to assume that? Because obviously everything we see on Netflix is controlled. Like someone watches it and like, yeah, we like what this movie or what the series is talking about. We are passing that.
Yeah. So I think it's tricky because if you make a YouTube docu, there's a lot of room for you to create false narratives, because you have that freedom to just post a docu. You know, like I could shoot right now a docu and post it, but on an official basis like Netflix, there are certain things that they'll have to do extensive research on to make sure that they're not creating a narrative that's untrue.
Mm-hmm.
There is obviously an angle, you know. Docu's on like purely raw and true. People have agendas, but I think a Netflix docu could be more valuable and more truer than a Netflix YouTube docu. And it also depends on subject matter, you know. Like at the end of the day, it's about your opinion of the director, you know. But I would choose a Netflix docu over a YouTube docu because YouTube can take you a whole direction and you won't even know. So you have to be more careful with that with the YouTube.
Yeah, I feel you. You're definitely making sense. So now, Microwave Boys. How did that concept come about? Because obviously you're the creative producer behind it, right? And you shot it and you edited yourself.
Yeah.
So how did that come together? Like, who says what and how does it get working? Because that's like one thing that really, it's like it did a lot of social commentary, and at the same time, it was really controversial to a certain degree. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not definitely. So I started it with Larry basically because
right.
Yeah, me and Larry go way back. Went to the same high school.
I know you're part of the reps, dude.
I used to die for him. Yeah. So after high school, we kind of didn't talk for a long time. And then he saw what I was doing on my channel. Because before we did Microwave Boys, we did Guide to Groove, we did all these little mini shows. So and he saw that from Broke Niggaz. He was like, "This is cool. Let's think of some content," because he's very good at content. He's very good at like forecasting things, and he was very good at creating content. So he kind of forecasted that. He showed me a video of these guys called, at the time they weren't famous, Jesus and Mero. So he made me watch Jesus and Mero, and he was like, all these guys do is just talk shit, and they're funny guys, you know. They're almost like news anchors, but from the hood, you know. And he was like, if we can do a South African version of this, just commenting and giving people information, it's gonna bang. Like he literally said that. He was like, "This, if we do this with the people I can put together, the show is gonna bang." He literally said it's gonna be a success, and I'm like, cool. Yeah. And then he's like, I'm gonna call my homie Sipo, and I know a guy called Spaga. At the time, Spaga was working in a production company as I think a camera assistant. He was literally just a guy just working, trying to, you know, he was from Cape Town, trying to just keep a job in Joburg. And it was like, this guy's crazy, he's wild. Let's put these guys together. Let's see what happens. And that's what we did. We shot it at my apartment and did that first episode. It was quite messy. And we posted it, man, and it got mixed reviews. Like some people were like, this is stupid. Some people were like, I remember at the time, Larry's manager was like, this is a big mistake. It's not going to work. He literally told him that. And he even quit as his manager because Larry was saying it's going to be a success. Like it was that bad. And yeah, and I remember Yanga wasn't too happy with the episode because Spaga just Yanga. It was like a weird thing, bro. So at the time I was like, nah, it's not gonna work. This is bad. And Larry was just like, let's just shoot another episode. And we just kept shooting, bro. We just like kept shooting and it picked up and it was like, yeah, and then it became like literally what he prophesied. It happened, you know. He was like, I told you this thing was gonna bang, and it banged. Because at the time I was very reluctant. I was like, hey, let's see, bro. Let's keep on pushing and let's see.
Yeah, let's see if it really pops up, and it really popped up. Damn.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, that's cool, and it popped off.
That's crazy. So did you at the Big Ed Gut? Did it need any more direction, or was it just a bunch of social commentary? Like direction in terms of how we're gonna talk about this, how do we get into the topics, and like how we
So
structure everything.
nah, there was no direction, man. So the production of the show is just one long reaction video. We literally just pop up a picture and then they just start commenting. There's no script.
Yeah.
So that's literally what was happening. And then I would basically patch it up in the edit. I would make it faster or slower. I would remove things that didn't work. I would build the whole show in the edit when I'm editing it, basically. But on production, they just go off, bro. Like they don't stop. They just non-stop going off.
Dude,
And then
the way you say that, like, brings me so much clarity, because it's just like editors actually put in so much work, dude. Because editors actually put together what we see, because you guys are just recording everything, and then now you have to watch it again and now cut out what you think will pop.
Yeah, that's what editors do, man. So
like,
imagine what guys who do edit movies have
dude,
to like 10 hours
that's
of
what I'm thinking. Like 2-hour movies.
Exactly, and because when you shoot a movie, it's not like you're shooting 2 hours. You could shoot 100 hours, you know. So
yeah, you shoot in days.
Yeah, so that's what they do, man. That's what you build a lot of the story, and editors build a story. You know, they storytellers.
Yeah.
They make sure that the viewers understanding it from A to Z. They're getting it. They're not getting lost or confused. You know. But yeah. That's what we do.
Damn, that's so crazy. That's so crazy. Okay, so now, what projects are you working on now in terms of YouTube? Because surely you should be working on some new productions due to this lockdown.
Yeah, so I've stopped. So besides the role models, which is Kelly's baby, and
yes,
there's another show, Sisterhood of the Traveling Gore, which is
yes,
Sipo's baby. I produced that. I produced the podcast, but Kelly with role models, Kelly does everything. I just post it. He literally does everything A to Z, shoots, interview, edits, and then I just post it. But on my, I don't want to create any content for YouTube, but I want to create more short films. I was supposed to shoot a lot of films, but because of the lockdown, I only managed to shoot one short film. So I want to focus more on narrative now, because that was the actual plan. I want to create movies.
Right.
So now I'm just writing, and then once the lockdown's over, I'm gonna start pitching my films to collaborate with other people. Like the first one, I collaborated with Sipo Fresh, Nganawe, and them. I want to write short films and then bring a team together.
Is that the one you dropped at the beginning of this year?
Yeah. The two sides of the same price.
Yes, that thing was hard.
Yeah, so I want to make more of that, because that's my focus. You know, I think YouTube and essays are pretty much established. So I want to just bring in something new again and create narrative work and just make people short films. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm for that. That makes perfect sense. Because I mean, I'm trying to get into media myself, but not necessarily like what's this, movies and all that. Like I'm actually looking into like newspapers and like online magazines and whatnot. Because I mean, at some point I'd like to own the whole chain. You know what I mean? And by the chain is, at some point I'd like to tell someone to buy this because I own that. And that's what happens when you own media. Like I control the narrative. I can have a front cover of a BMW, knowing very well that I own the BMW dealership, and I know you're gonna go buy BMW, and I'm gonna inherit the money, because that's what like literally all the rich people do in South Africa. Like they just own media houses just to control the narrative, and it's also like a power move in a way, because if I'm trying to strike a deal and I tell you, yo, dude, don't worry, if you need any spread, you're for the first person that I got. You know what I mean? Because that's what that actually happened with like the Guptas. So you know ANN7?
Yeah.
So what they did is they bought the channel and they created a different narrative of Zuma. I was watching this documentary on Showmax where they were basically talking about it, and they're talking about how ANN7 was made to create a specific narrative around Zuma and the overall ANC. So there were certain words people, like the anchors, were not allowed to say about Zuma or the ANC, and there were certain things they were not to say about the ANC, even like the small words, because like that's how media works. Media really works on like small, significant words and just like adjectives. They don't really like tell you straight up that, yo, this nigga's fucked up. They're just gonna use like some really smart adjectives and you're gonna fall into that hole. So after watching that, it just made me understand how, as me owning a media house, you have so much leverage. So much leverage just based on you being able to control and create a narrative that anyone who's watching at that point in time can buy.
Yeah, it's like Fox with Trump. You know, they mess with him.
What happened with that?
Now I'm saying the Fox channel in America, they support Trump, so everything they say about Trump is always good. They never say anything bad about him. You know, basically for some reason they really like him there. So I think he has some sort of affiliation there. That's why they never say anything.
Money.
They always defend everything he says. I mean, he could literally blow up like a building. They'll find a way to make him look like a leader or a good person. Doesn't matter what he does. Yeah,
it's definitely money, dude. Someone, or either that or someone that owns Fox needs Trump to be
funding
in position to get what he's getting. Like that's really how it works. Like it's crazy. Like it's really like it's intense. It's actually really crazy. So short film. When's your short film dropping?
I have to shoot it, man. You know, I've written.
Or have you already dropped the one that you already shot? Because I already watched one.
That's the one. That's the only one I've shot. I've only written the others. I just have to shoot them. I haven't shot them yet.
Yeah, but you might have to find a way to shoot around the lockdown, because you know this is not going anywhere anytime soon, bro.
I might even have to rewrite and create new short films that I can shoot, because my next short film, I can't shoot it. It needs like a space. It needs a few characters. It's a lot happening. So I might have to write something else for lockdown and see how that works. You know.
Okay, now question: funding. Where do you get the funding to do all this stuff? Do you pocket it out, like do you fund it yourself, or is it just time?
Now I spend my own money on my short film. It cost about 4,500 rand.
But what do you exactly spend on?
So I spent money on food. I had to feed
of course.
Because the guys weren't getting paid. No one got paid. So I have to,
of course,
make sure eating. And then I had to pay to mix the movie, which was literally half the budget. So once I've shot the audio, I had to mixed, because I want to make sure that it's good audio, because sound can turn people off, you know. And then that was the biggest budget, the food and the mixing, because I got the venue for free from a friend. My friends came together to make the movie. Luckily I had friends with good cameras, and then I had friends with
those cameras look crazy. That quality, I watched it on HD 720 even. That quality is crazy. Quality is insane.
Yeah. So I was lucky to have people with that equipment, and then I just shot, you know. And that's what I realized about shooting, is that when you decide to make like a movie, you'd be shocked how many people around you are ready to like throw in help, you know. Like there's so many people. Equipment and the sound, people own that stuff, and they're ready to help. If you can pitch something dope to them, they're ready to be like, let's try it out, let's see. And that's what my friends did, basically, you know.
I feel you. That's really dope, man. That's really dope. I know. Look, I just got this question in my head, and I know there's probably a question we should be having after this, but really, I'm gonna ask it right now. Have you ever thought of having your own virtual channel? Like not necessarily a channel that lives on YouTube, because like you see how people are crying about open up the industry, and how there's like a lot of actors and actresses that like have no jobs, and some are qualified, or some just see it as a passion that actually have nothing to do. So I thought about this like ages ago, when whoever, like the person I was with at that point in time was like was an actress, and she was like auditioning and all that stuff, and couldn't get like positions. And I asked her like, dude, why don't you and your friends, seeing that you guys can't get like jobs, why don't you guys like start your own sitcom or soapy? that you guys could push. But in an idea like that, what holes are they? Like, what are the loopholes that no one would see? Like in you having your own sitcom, for argument's sake.
Or like if I started producing my own show independently.
Yeah, and let's say it's not like a 5-star show, bro. It's like a star with like a cast of 6 people, you know. Each episode is like 10 minutes, very straight to the top, you know. Come in, like each story is just a story that hooks you on, like something like Intersection. I don't even remember it when Intersection had like those small trailers that like just like trailers that we could all put together.
Yeah, I remember. Hey, dude, there's actually technically it depends on your circumstances, bro. You know, like you can argue and say that I could start a sitcom because I literally have all the resources to create it. Obviously it's a crap load of work for me, but if we're having a conversation about the possibility, it's very possible. There's even a guy who with the YouTube channel who has his own miniseries, like a whole romantic drama called Love the Series. Yeah, so
no one has that.
I think his name is Ziggy. I think it's his baby. I don't even know how he pulls it off. I don't. But he's got a whole show on channel. There's a guy called MDM Sketch Comedy. I don't know if you know him.
No, I'm gonna check him out.
He's got 450,000 subscribers. He's a South African. Sketch comedy skits. He makes skits and full-on narratives, full-on directing, camera angles, characters, and he's doing it. So it's 100% possible, bro. It's just what surrounds you, what resources surround you. It's easy for me to say I can make a show. I've got my roommate is a full-on high-end editor for adverts, you know, and then I have friends with A7S Sonys. So it's easy for me to say that, but there could be a guy out there who's dirt poor who can write, but who's gonna make his show, you know. But if me personally, it's possible, but in general, it is possible. The possibilities, it's more accessible and more doable to create your own narratives in this day and age. It's a possibility.
I feel you. I really do. That makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah,
it makes a lot more sense. So what's your end goal? To be like a young Spike Lee? I know that's like a really bad example, but you know what I mean.
I love Spike Lee. Bro. It's not a bad example. It's a great example because he's one of the reasons I want to make movies. So I do want to be a filmmaker. I want to create narrative TV shows. I want to either head write, produce, or direct, or do all of it on the highest level. So like, filmmaking is obviously one thing I want to do. I want to be involved in it. And yeah, that is the dream. So like, and Spike Lee is a great example because he made his greatest movie at 26. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
28. So
I won't lie. Every time I hear his name or every time I see him on the timeline, I always think of you because it's like I always feel like you guys have like not necessarily the same. I don't know how to put it, dude. Like there's just certain people that every time I hear about them, I always think about like someone else, just especially if they're doing like the same thing. So before we go, I just want to ask you, do you have any words of wisdom to everyone who's watching that could possibly want to be a videographer or a cinematographer? You know what I mean?
Yo, cinematographer, I don't know because I can't do cinematography.
No, I'm joking. I just do that in for the future. You never know.
But for creation, I would say just try and keep it as close to your heart as possible when creating, as in don't try pander when creating. It's a big mistake people make. They create for other people. But I think try create something that you yourself would like. You need to actually like it, you know. And then you start realizing that other people like it too. That's the best way to create, where you create something that means something to you, and then if you can make it digestible to the mass audience, you'll realize other people will like it as well. So there's nothing wrong with being personal when creating, especially at the beginning. Maybe later on you'll start pandering and, you know, but at the beginning, always keep it close to you as a person. And because people can see it, can feel that, you know.
That's very true.
like your label, even though it's for the masses, you can feel that it comes from a very personal foundation. It's not like you were like they're gonna love this. You loved it first. You loved your clothes first before anybody else. You
Yeah.
wouldn't create something that you don't like but think other people will like. You approve that first because it's something you like, and because it's an extension of yourself, you start realizing that people think like you because they like what you're creating, and that is the best position to be in.
You're actually very right, dude. Can I tell you one crazy story before I leave, right?
Yeah.
I once upon a time made a collection fully based on what I thought people would like,
Yeah.
right? There's a time when in my design life when I was like lost as a designer. Oh, I hate calling myself a designer. As a visionary, I was lost. I was just like, I didn't know what I liked, and I kind of lost my personal taste for a couple of seconds. And dude, that collection did not sell. I'm not
Yeah.
joking. I
Yeah.
didn't sell even one piece. And all that taught me is that when you're a creator, right, people don't like you for creating things they like. They actually like you because you create things they end up liking.
Yeah. What they never knew they would like. What they never knew they would.
100%. They didn't know what they were missing.
Yeah.
And that's the key. The key is your taste just being so good to be relatable to someone else, honestly speaking. Like, that's generally how I saw it. So ever since then, I'll never, ever create something that I don't like. Like, if I don't like something, it's not making it into the collection. Like, it's a
Yeah.
sample. Like, that's how it is now.
Yeah. You
But
probably made the right decision by doing that. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
but I saw it for myself. I was so shocked. I never saw the piece because I thought I made something everyone would like,
Yeah.
and it just didn't work.
It
It
wasn't
just
that.
didn't work.
Definitely.
But thanks so much, man. Hope to
Understood.
hear from you soon. Hope to see you soon. Keep working. We're trying to see your work, man. The last short film you dropped, that shit was fire.
Nah,
That shit
definitely,
was.
man. Well, if I shoot the next thing I shoot, I'm gonna try buy some of your items, man, because I always like to add. Because the cool thing about movies, you can add so many elements of collaboration, and if you make
Yeah.
someone else's clothes, and it's like it just contributes to the idea and the scenario,
100%.
So because I did a painting with the last one, so I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna buy items, but your stuff sells out quickly. But if I can get it,
Nah, hit
I'm
me up, bro. We can make something work, bro. Come on. I'm willing to help with anything that's just like impactful, bro. Anything impactful, let's go.
yeah,
Just hit
definitely.
my line up. Hit my line up. I'm ready anytime.
I will, bro.
I didn't hear you there, bro.
I'm saying I'm gonna hit you up definitely. I will.
I bet you already know. Thanks so much for your time, man. I know this is like the third time we try to do this. Finally, we got it in. Thank you so much for your patience and thank you for understanding, man.
Thanks, bro.
All right,
Sure,
stay blessed.
You too, dog.